All right, so it is the Sunday Superlatives. See, we got the special.
Yes. Hello.
Presented by Accenture. And now we delve into
I
a superlative coming
gun.
out of the Buccaneers-Giants game. Buccaneers win 30-7. Both teams had extra time to get ready. One team was ready to go and one team wasn't.
This is a game I did on Football Night in America. I felt like the headlines were so good on Football Night in America. I'm going to use them again, okay? It's not copyright infringement if it's my
You're
crap
copying
to begin
yourself.
with. Exactly right. So my superlative will be baked cutlets. Hey, don't you fry cutlets or do you bake them? I don't know.
I think you know what my mom did? My mom would fry them in bacon.
That's how they do it. That's how the good Italian
brown
moms do it.
Brown it, and then bake it.
And then get it bacon. Exactly right. I feel like my wife would do the same thing. But I mean, I know we talked about Tommy DeVito. Oh yes, it's Tommy Cutlets. Well, he had a spark to the Giants and their football team. Malik Neighbors said it right, and we've tried to say this too. The quarterback play is down the list for problems with the Giants. The Giants have a lot of issues. Tommy DeVito wasn't going to come in and save anything. Guess what? What happened to Tommy DeVito? Oh, he got his ass beat in the ground by the pass rush of the Buccaneers all day, just like every other quarterback does with the New York Giants. Yeah, that's what happened. And then, of course, Baker Mayfield and the Bucs came in with a totally different attitude. They were ready for a street fight. They brought it to the Giants. You heard Dexter Lawrence talk about the missed tackles. I mean, Bucky Irvin and Rachaad White were slicing through them like it was nothing. I mean, this is a running play. I mean, a screen play, 1st and 10. There's 8 people that hit him as he gets 14 yards. Baker Mayfield running over defenders, getting in the end zone. Made big plays in the pass game. They physically dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
Aggressive. That is so funny.
He's from Texas. He doesn't know.
Well, wait a minute. But he does have experience with one specific thing that Italians like to do when they're posturing.
The middle finger?
No, he's done the remember when he was on the sideline and he grabbed his, that's an Italian knee jerk. It's not just confined to my brethren, but hey, I got your cutlet right here, that kind of thing.
Thank you.
That was the whole everything
he was
about
raising the roof. I wasn't sure.
And I think he was trying to maybe flash a middle finger while he did it. There was just something about it. He told me afterward, hey, no disrespect. I meant no disrespect.
No disrespect to
I
you
just
and your
didn't
people.
really think of it, and he said it's hilarious.
Caught up in the emotions.
He said it's hilarious how everybody in that building goes crazy when he does something good.
Right.
So you know how he is, and he's got the right combination. Sometimes it's gotten him into trouble.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have that than not.
Agreed.
I'd rather have a guy that every once in a while I got to say, hey, Baker,
don't be so emotional and love football so much.
Yeah. I'd rather have a guy who buzzes the tower
I hear you.
than the guy who doesn't even get the friggin' plane off the ground.
That's damn right, because Maverick might save you in a tough situation. That's right. Damn it. Fine. Permission for flyby. No. I'm done. You got anything else you want to go there?
The contrast between those two teams is jarring.
That was a real bad
look. And I'm not trying to get anybody fired, but I think we're not doing our jobs if we sit here and say everything's fine with the Giants. John Mara has to be beside himself. And nothing he said, he goes to the premiere of a documentary they did about his dad. He gets caught up in all that. I want to try to emulate him a little bit more. I've been too impatient in recent years.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to suddenly change who you are. He could say, starting now, I'm going to be more patient. I got to get rid of the guys who are here. This hasn't worked. They moved on from Saquon Barkley. Joe Shane was no big deal. Xavier McKinney's potential defensive player of the year. They move on from him. It's just not a good look for the Giants. And at some point, and the ultimate, I don't want to get too far down this path, but we got a little time, and it fits. The Aaron Rodgers thing with the Jets is done.
Yeah.
It's just done. We didn't talk about it because they were on a bye this week.
Right.
It's done. When the word comes out that Woody Johnson suggested benching Aaron Rodgers, and now there's been some reporting where Rodgers does want to play next year, not for the Jets. And then there was reporting yesterday from NFL media that Rodgers' injuries are so bad he refuses to have scans. Who the hell refuses to have scans to see how bad their injury is? They got to drag him off the field. It's an excuse for playing poorly, and it's kind of like a middle finger back at the Jets, and it sets the stage for him to go on IR. But my point is this. He's going to be available next year. Somebody texted me, and 2 different people on Saturday.
Right.
Hey, Watch for Rodgers to end up with Belichick wherever Belichick goes, which changes the dynamic completely of where Belichick can go, because then Jacksonville is out of the mix because they got Trevor Lawrence unless they would get rid of him.
Right.
They just signed him to a massive contract. Yeah. They'd have ramifications.
Definitely.
The Cowboys aren't going to take Aaron Rodgers. Right. But you know a place where it all lines up.
Yeah.
And it's a middle finger by Rodgers and Belichick and Mara to the Jets. If they all get together for 1 year with the Giants.
Yeah.
1 year for Rodgers with the Giants, but Belichick comes in as the coach.
Well, I still think there is a thought around the NFL that if the Giants do move on from Brian Daboll, and I would agree with you, it seems like it's trending that way right now. We'll see where it goes. But, there is still a thought around the NFL that Belichick's in play for the New York Giants, certainly. I mean, definitely. With people that I trust and know that. Now, how serious is that? I don't know, and we still got a little more time before stuff like that gets figured out. But you hear Belichick's name surface with the Giants, hear it with the Jaguars a little bit, hear it with Tampa a little bit. Those are the three teams I think that I look at that could have Belichick.
I think he'd love to coach the Giants. When the dysfunction first popped up 6-7 years ago with Jimmy Garoppolo and Tom Brady and Robert Kraft and Belichick in New England, Gary Myers, who was covering the Giants at the time, said Belichick would love to coach the Giants.
Right.
And that fizzled out because he was under contract to the Patriots and they weren't going to let him go.
Yep.
Now he's available to go anywhere he wants. And if the Giants decide, okay, but that would be something, because short passing game, Josh McDaniels, that's what Aaron Rodgers loves.
They
feel like they could, like there's a thought out there that they could salvage something.
That would be crazy.
It would be crazy
that
if
would
it
be
happened.
crazy.
Okay. Now, one of the reasons they're looking is because, and this is an individual superlative, because Daniel Jones did a little reporting last night. There's been other reporting there. He's looking to sign with a playoff contender. The superlative is this: pretty much anywhere but Indiana Jones. Because really, the Colts aren't going to want him. But any other contender or remote contender could potentially want him. Because they already have Joe Flacco and Anthony Richardson.
Right.
I went through team by team the contenders on Saturday.
Yeah.
For most of the contenders, he's better than the current number 2 backup.
Right.
Or the number 1 backup, number 2 quarterback. Easy for him to say. But he's going to have options. Unless the Raiders do something nuts, like claim him on waivers today because Gardner Minshew is done for the year. If you claim him on waivers, you're going to pay him $11.83 million, and you're going to step into the shoes of the $23 million injury guarantee for next year. I can't imagine the Raiders being dumb enough to claim, all due respect, dumb enough to claim him on waivers.
Let alone if that even gets close, Daniel Jones should tell him, I don't want to come there. I don't want it.
But you know what? Well, because he's getting his $11.83 million anyway.
That's what.
Yeah, I'm getting it anyway from the Giants. Why do I want to go play for the Raiders? And yes, it allows him to play and lay the foundation for next year, but not with a team. Like, he's already done that.
Exactly.
Because Daniel Jones can play at a high level if you block for him and if you give him weapons. So anyway, let's assume that the Raiders don't do something as stupid as something that maybe the Raiders of past years would do. This was pointed out to me yesterday. One of the options, and I wish I'd thought of this. It makes sense. You join a team on the practice squad.
Right.
So you're part of that roster. You could be called up for game day like Joe Flacco last year. Remember, he was playing and he was part of the practice squad with the Browns. He was the starting quarterback and he wasn't even on the active roster.
Yeah.
If you're on the practice squad, any team can sign you at any time to the active roster. So he goes somewhere and he's the practice squad. He's getting reps. He's learning the offense. But somebody tears an Achilles tendon.
Yeah.
And there he goes.
Yeah, I hear you.
So watch for that to happen. That's his best play. Maximum flexibility. Pick a horse now. Reserve the right to jump onto another horse whenever that other horse might have a need for you.
I hear that. I do. I would not agree with that approach. I would not do that if I was him. He needs to be rehabilitated. He doesn't need to be thrown into a situation.
How do you rehabilitate him?
Well, let me just explain this part of it first. He doesn't need to be thrown into a situation where, hey, you're on another team's practice squad. Oh, hey, our starter got hurt. Now we need you to come play. And, hey, learn our offense. And we got a big game right this week, too, because we're in the playoff mix. Oh, we lost the game? Oh, it's Daniel Jones' fault. What did you think was going to happen if you lost the game? You signed Daniel Jones. He lost. He needs to go and do something like Sam Darnold did last year. Go to a team that's good, get rewired, retooled a little bit, get some confidence, get to feel what it's like to be a part of a high-functioning football team and offense. I feel like Vikings, Lions, 49ers would be the three teams that I think should look at him. Like you just said, he's better than any of their backups, let alone he's in a spot to be successful for the long play a little bit too. And maybe they can get to know him a little bit and go, damn, we like him. We want him to be the backup next year. And then you go there and hopefully if you do get a chance to play, now you're with a good team, a support system, and you can be good to hopefully show everybody you are good and become a starter once again in the NFL.
Wouldn't his goal, though, be to go somewhere and play well enough to get himself into the conversation for free agency next year?
I don't know. I think that is I think it's too far gone right now. I think it's too
There
risky.
isn't enough time.
I don't think there's enough time, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be too hard. It's too risky. And even to your point, I hear your point all the way. And if it was Daniel Jones and he had a really good career to this point, I would go, that is the play. That's really cool. But this is Daniel Jones where if he has one more bad, egg on his face type of moment, whatever, he's going to have the stigma of why the hell would you sign Daniel Jones? Didn't you see how crappy he looked with the Giants and that other team he saved? And that's what I think you got to be worried about if you're in his camp.
If I was the Bills, I'd be intrigued by him because I think he's an upgrade over Mitch Trubisky and his skill set tracks Josh Allen's.
Similar, yeah,
right?
I hear that, right?
I hear what you're saying, though, about this idea that I can go somewhere and basically audition to be the number 2 next year.
I think that would be the play I would
And look at Minnesota. Not that I'm advocating this at all, frankly, because I remember the bad as vividly as I remember the good, if not more vividly.
Right.
But they're going to need another Sam Darnold next year because
Exactly.
Darnold's going to be gone.
Right.
Darnold's playing well enough this year that somebody's going to sign him. Basically, Darnold is getting now what you think Daniel Jones should set him up for next year.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Right. Just what Darnold went to the 49ers and we let me show some good preseason film. Let me play a little in the regular season at the end of games or whatever else. And then let people hear the vibes of, hey, the 49ers think Sam Darnold's really good. They think he's awesome. He's practicing great. Oh, man, they love Sam Darnold. They really do. They think he's a starter in the NFL. And then it starts to go trickle through to other people and they hear that. And that's what Daniel Jones needs to do that for himself as well.
All right, they're trying to move us along here. We have 2 superlatives left in theory. We got time for 1. Go.
Hot Tua.
I can't believe you did
Hot Tua.
I could not believe last night. I'm standing in the
I'm just
studio.
saying he's hot. What are you talking about?
I know, but you know what you're doing and you know how you're saying it. And I had my phone on just in case because it's like, this guy is not going to do this on NBC, national TV. I couldn't believe it.
We're breaking down barriers, baby. We're the show of
Some
shows.
barriers should not be broken down.
Hey.
This is the guy who got offended by the wipe your ass with the rabbit joke. Okay?
That's right. But let me just say, hot Tua is hot, okay? That's what I want to say, all right? And I do like what the Dolphins are doing. I love the way that Tua is playing. We talked about it a lot last night, Football Night in America. I know you talked about it
Look
after.
at that. That's amazing.
He is. I think they did that play 2 different times during the game. He's a magician with the ball. He is slick. And he's got, of course, incredibly quick release. He's very accurate. He can adjust his arm angles and do that. He's got great feel for that offense and everything they do there. And they just hey, 4 yards here, 3 yards here, screen there. And then they just get you to kind of widen out. And then we saw some plays yesterday, Waddle down the middle, Tyreek down the middle, Jonnu Smith down the middle. They're playing some good football, and that D's playing good too.
The real question is, how will hot Tua perform when it's cold?
I know.
And Jason Garrett was making this point last
Yeah.
night. Once you introduce weather,
Right.
wind,
Yes.
elements,
Things change.
the 3-card Monty shell game, Harlem Globetrotters,
Right.
where's the ball?
Exactly right.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. The hidden ball trick thing, it's awesome. But it's not going to work as well if you get yourself
cold
into
weather
a bad
usually
game.
slows that kind of stuff down. Makes the game a little, slower, more physical. Yeah, the game is not, on a warm track in Miami. All of that, the wind. Oh no, we missed our screen pass. Now we're in 2nd and long. It affects the football game, and they got big answers or big questions to answer on Thanksgiving night.
All right, let's take a break. 2 of the biggest underdogs from Week 12 pulled off massive upsets. We'll look at those next here on PFT Live, presented by Accenture. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.